Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's show, after beating the Giants, did the Cowboys prove they're the class of the NFC? Plus, we're grading Aaron Rodgers' performance against the Seahawks. And is Dallas' defense good enough to win the Super Bowl? Former Cowboys defensive coordinator Rob Ryan stops by the show to break it down. Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. The NFL is back, and we have to start with the Cowboys. Dallas opened their season with an impressive 19-3 win against the Giants at home. Last night, Dak Prescott threw for 268 yards, including a touchdown pass to Jason Witten. The Giants were without Odell Beckham Jr. and did not score a touchdown. On Friday, a judge ruled in Ezekiel Elliott's favor, and he will likely be able to play all season. Zeke ran for over 100 yards. After the game, he talked about being able to be on the field with his teammates. Let's take a listen.
It's definitely been a tough last 14 months, and, at times it's gotten so hard, and, you start to lose faith, but, just being able to come in and be with these boys every day has kept me focused and, made me, not give up and keep going. I'll finally get a fair trial. I'll finally get a chance to prove my innocence, and I'm just happy that I'm able to be with these guys for as long as it's permitted and, just not having to miss time and not being away from them. I'm just really focused right now on being the running back I need to be so this team can be successful, so we can accomplish what we want to, and just remain focused and keep playing at a high level.
Shannon, how impressive were the Cowboys?
Guys, I really try not to overreact in week one because we've seen teams look really, really bad in week one and go on to have a great season, and we've seen teams be outstanding in week one and then all of a sudden they lay an egg. But given the sort of circumstances that they've been dealing with, as Zeke mentioned, 14 months, but let's just go since he's been suspended. The suspension of Zeke has been hanging over their heads. And for the Cowboys to come out and play as well as they did, especially Zeke, because it's his life, it's his reputation that's on the line. So I can assure you it's weighing more heavily on his mind than Jerry Jones, because Jerry would like for him to play, but that's not Jerry's reputation at stake. Skip, I think it was more bad Giants offense than Cowboys good defense. Eli didn't play well early. They got to him early, which made him gun shy, and he didn't get any help from his receivers. Odell not being there, I'm not saying maybe the outcome wouldn't have been different, but I think Odell makes everyone's job a lot easier. Everybody else is now the focus just so much on Odell that other guys start to relax. Brandon Marshall, I don't think he's going to be the Brandon Marshall that we know and love, the one that we've seen over all these years in Denver.
So after 1 week, you're going to write off?
No. I'm not going to write him off. But Skip, I think here's the thing. How much time is Odell going to miss?
I'm going to guess he's going to be back for, what do they play, Monday night against the Lions? So I'll bet he'll be back.
The Cowboys offense did what the Cowboys offense normally do. They were very good on third down, over 50%. They control the clock, over 34 minutes to time of possession. But the Giants, when you only have the ball for 9 minutes in the first half and your defense is on the field as much as they are, I don't care how good a defense you possess. If you leave them on the field long enough, teams will find a way to take advantage of you. And that's what happened yesterday, because you look in the second half, Skip, as great as Dak played in the first half, how many points did they score in the second half? Oh, yeah, that made it. Don't worry about it. No, you can get
I'll have to ask my research.
Whoa, Skip. That's unnecessary, Skip. I don't need you taking shots at my research.
I said I was going to have to ask my researcher because I forgot to ask that.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't watch. You know what? I got distracted by Hazel in the second half, started playing with her, and I didn't watch.
You was feeling so good it was 16-0. You was like feeling good, huh?
Okay.
But this is what we know.
It was 19-3.
The final score.
Yes.
Was that the halftime score?
No, it was 16-0 at half.
Yeah, I could have swore I said that. Maybe I said that in my mind.
I'll check with my researcher just to verify.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But here's the thing. If I'm the Giants, I feel real comfortable for the simple fact I'm going against this vaunted offense. Dak Prescott's going to be in the MVP conversation all year long. Zeke Elliott came out with a man possessed the best offensive line in football. They played 4 times over the last 2 years. They've been held under 20 points. What? All those times.
3 times.
Well, they only play. What are they going to play for? They're going to hold them again. They're going to hold them again. Oh, you think they're going to score 20? That's not going to give up 20 points in that offense.
It depends if the ball is slippery.
Oh, stop it, Skip. The ball was dry last night. They played in the dome.
They did. You got it.
And they got
Thank you. Keep talking.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How many points did I tell you the Cowboys would score?
I don't remember.
You remember exactly what I said.
You told me the Giants would score more. That's all I know.
I did, but I said 19 points. Yeah, I was right on with that.
Well, you nailed it. But let's see. How many were the Giants would score? I think it was
26.
You were going up to 29, then you
26.
dialed it down a little bit to 26. So you only missed that by 23. Go ahead.
But I tell you what is concerning, because even after a year of having a year to address it, Skip, the Giants' offensive line is no better than what it was last year. They can run the ball no better than what they did last year. And when you can't run the football and you got a porous offensive line, I don't care how good your quarterback is, and I don't care how good the auxiliary pieces outside are. If you can't protect him, if a defense knows, run for what? We're going to play the run on the way to the quarterback. They got to Eli early. Eli looked really shaky. I mean, he ended up with some okay numbers, Skip, but that's not nearly good enough to win. And guess what? The Eagles got a better defensive line than what the Cowboys. The Giants need to address their offensive line. Now, I don't know what they can do now, but maybe they go to shorter passing game, Skip. But if Odell can't come back and provide some kind of big play potential, but a lot of it's going to have to be hit, catch, and run. They're not going to have time to throw it to him down the field because that offensive line, I can get me a sack against two of those guys.
Okay. You finished?
I'm finished.
So, bottom line takeaway for Cowboy hater Shannon Sharpe to start off the show. I'm just laying it out on the table, stating the fact, is that you say Cowboys not that impressive last night. It was more about what the Giants couldn't do on offense, correct? Is that fair enough?
Yeah, fair.
I assessed it. Okay. Now, back to the Odell Beckham Jr. question.
Stop giving people nicknames. Odell Beckham Jr.
When you need him most, he's Nodell.
Oh, my God.
He was Nodell up at Lambeau in that playoff game, wasn't he? On that early third down, right in his hands. Whoops, Nodell.
We're talking about the Giants-Cowboys.
Okay, well, I'm just going to frame this for you. So, what did I tell you throughout the offseason? Probably like 29 times sitting in this chair throughout, 6 months of offseason. I kept telling you the Giants are offensively challenged. I kept telling you that over the last 6 games last year, they did not score more than 19 points. That includes the game at Lambeau Field. Not more than 19 points. And they managed all of 3 last night in no surprise to me because they are offensive line challenged. Didn't I tell you that even a week ago?
I got to check my research.
Friday? Check it out. Check the tape. Didn't I tell you that they have little to no run game to take pressure off the passing game? Didn't I tell you that Eli Manning, this is a quote-unquote from me, I'm going to quote myself accurately. I told you Eli Manning has become the most overrated quarterback in all of pro football because he does have 2 Super Bowl rings against Tom Brady. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. And even Eli admitted to us at Houston, sitting over there, that it was the luckiest pass in Super Bowl history, the one to Tyree that stuck in his face.
What about the other
saved
one?
the day. It was a beautiful throw to Manningham.
Okay. And then he beat him in the regular season in New England, too.
He did do that. But the key was that he beat him twice in games that really, really, really counted. And that's really all he has to show because he's also led the league in interceptions 3 times. And last year, he was 4th in the league in interceptions, tied with Blake Bortles and Brock Osweiler. That's the guy that you told me throughout the whole offseason was going to win the NFC and get to the Super Bowl. But then right on schedule on Friday, you switched off. You went to the Seahawks. But you kept telling me the Giants were going to win the NFC.
They're going to win the NFC East.
I know, but you kept saying they were going to be the Super Bowl team. Am I right, Joy?
Yeah, but then Odell, you know,
Okay,
they won't pay him his money.
But I give you credit for this. You switched off to the Seahawks, though. I'm really shaky about that pick after what I saw yesterday. But we'll talk about that in a few minutes. So back to what happened. The Giants last year at Green Bay in a playoff game managed 13 points. And I'm going to warn you that with Nodell in the lineup against Dallas last year twice, first game he caught 4 balls for all of 73 yards and no touchdowns. And I don't even remember even the first game, the 20-19 opener of a year ago when Dak was a raw rookie 4th-round pick getting thrown into the fire for Tony Romo in the first NFL game he ever played in. Yeah. Then in the second game up at Giant Stadium, what do they call it now, MetLife, on a Sunday night in December on which it had snowed that day all day and there was slush all over the field, and Eli said, I couldn't hold on to the football. Odell Beckham did catch one big ball in that game because Barry did not go to church on that Sunday morning because he went the wrong way.
He went to chapel.
Yeah, he went to chapel, maybe pregame, but he didn't listen. I don't know what happened.
Stop saying that,
I don't know what happened, but he went the wrong way. He went south instead of north. And Odell Beckham took off and ran all the way to the house with the one ball that Eli threw accurately, 61 yards. So he caught 4 balls in that game for a grand total of 94 yards, but 61 came on the only touchdown of the game. So you cannot make the case today that Odell Beckham changes the world last night if he plays, because I don't think he would have, because the line is still the line. They can't even block the Cowboy pass rush. And the running game is still not the running game. Because,
it's anemic.
I'm sorry, who is it? Help me out. Who's going to do it? I told you all offseason, help me out. I thought they were going to sign LeGarrette Blount. Philly signed him.
I mean, you're looking at Paul Perkins. Hell, he ran like Marlon Perkins.
He did. That's a good line. I agree with you. And I'm surprised you even know who Marlon Perkins is. That your grandpa's sweater is accurate because you must have been wearing it when you used to watch.
I watched Wild Kingdom.
Wild Kingdom. How do you know that show? It's way before my time.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
You and Marlon Perkins about the same age.
Yeah, okay. I think Marlon's got me by a couple.
Yeah,
He's still with us. God bless you if you're not, Marlon.
I don't think
he's still with us. Okay, so the point is that I thought Odell would at least try to play last night. And I was shocked he didn't try to play because we saw the dance video. What was that, like 10 days ago?
Yeah, the man did a little two-step. He did a little two-step.
Yeah. And then we saw a practice video in which he looked like he could run straight ahead, okay? Right. And then we saw the pregame video last night. I don't know. He can't cut probably. He's a little tender on the ankle. But I'm thinking, Ben McAdoo, why don't you just tell him to decoy? And I know Chris Collinsworth made the point. You don't listen to the game sound,
I do not.
Right? Okay, but Chris Collinsworth made the point. Gee, I'm surprised, and I was too. I thought Odell would at least just go out there and just stand. I don't know. Just try to.
Nah, Skip, you know why you don't do that?
No.
It's hard to really go out there and stand when they're messing with your money. See, I would go out.
Aha! Thank you for bringing that up. That was my thought, too.
I would go out there and stand if I was making my money like I'm supposed to. Yes.
Now we get down to the nitty-gritty of what was going on last night. I think there was a little pout going on, maybe a little negotiation going on, because Odell Thurman has made the statement.
Odell Beckham.
I'm sorry, I was calling him Thurman. Beckham has made the resounding statement he wants to be paid the highest in the league, not just wide receivers. He wants the most money of anybody in the league.
That's hyperbole. You and I both know.
I don't think it was. He said, didn't he say that's the elephant in the room?
No, the elephant in the room is not him being the highest paid. Will he be the highest paid receiver? Yes, I absolutely believe he will be the highest paid receiver. Yeah. He's not getting, Skip, do you actually think they're going to give him Matthew Stafford money? Honestly.
Well, honestly, I don't. Do I think he'll ask for it? Honestly, I do.
All they can do is tell you no. So, hey, look, I want to be played like Matthew Stafford, Jerry Reese answer. Hell no. Okay, next.
Okay, next. Ben McAdoo, or as I call him, Ben Much Ado About Nothing, took 2 shots at the Dallas Cowboys last week, and I'm going to get to both of them, but that indicated to me that Ben McAdoo, entering all of his second year of being a head coach in the National Football League, really wasn't taking the Cowboys that seriously. They did win twice last year, 20-19 and 10-7, and I think he's like, we saw him conferring with Beckham on the field, and it was like, it looked like they're saying, not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Just wait until next Monday night when we need you against the Detroit Lions, right? That's how it came across to me.
Well, it came across to me is that I'm not going to go out here and jeopardize my career trying to help you guys win on a bum ankle.
I agree. Thank you very much. And here's my bottom line. It is very difficult to win the way you think this team is going to win, because you did pick them at least to win the NFC East. It's difficult to do that when your whole world revolves around one player, Odell Beckham Jr., whose whole world revolves only around Odell Beckham Jr. The whole offseason was about me. I'm going to tour with Drake in Europe, but I'm not going to go to Eli's passing camp at Duke, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to show up for the OTAs unless I absolutely have to. I'm not going to show the team that I'm with them, that I'm going to be the leader of this team, even though I was the one who led the receivers to South Beach to get ready for a game at Lambeau Field, a playoff game.
So in the offseason, when is Eli going to have that offensive line meeting? When are you going to have them get together so they can block better than what they're doing right now?
Where's the chemistry? The chemistry starts with the throw to the receiver. You're a Hall of Famer. You get that.
Yeah.
You work on it in the offseason, even though you said you wouldn't go.
No, I didn't work on it. I worked on it in mini camp when it was time.
I thought you worked hard.
I did work hard.
Oh.
I did work hard. But they were paying me to stay in Atlanta.
Okay.
So I didn't want to upset the chemistry.
I get that. But I still say this team is going to become a troubled team, especially if it loses to the Detroit Lions, which is starting to look like Detroit's better than I thought. I know it's just 1 week, but they got some firepower. So
what about the Cardinals? Are they worse than you thought?
Well, I don't know. Let's not get off on the Cardinals because of because of Detroit. Okay. All right, but let's stay on schedule. So here's the point. You picked a team that's whole world hinges upon the happiness of that one receiver, right? And that one receiver didn't change life for them down the stretch because he averaged catching 7 balls for 80 yards, and they couldn't score more than 19 points with him. So don't give me, it's going to change the world last night in that game. It would have completely changed the game.
Are they a better team with or without Odell Beckham?
Well, they're better, but
Okay.
but I don't think it changes the outcome of the game last night.
Well, maybe a 2 first down catches. You're able to stay on the field a little longer. Your defense gets a little longer rest, and maybe you get a field goal. Maybe you get a touchdown.
Maybe.
Because now you get 3 more cracks to get the ball into the end zone.
2 games last year, he caught 4 balls and only 1 for a touchdown.
Well,
just for the record, I don't think that changed those games.
We're going to talk about this later. Well, considering Dez played 3 games and he only has 4 catches in those games.
Okay. I'm going to get to Dez Bryant in just a moment. So back to Joy Taylor's initial question to start this segment.
Yeah.
How impressive were the Cowboys? They were extremely impressive on both sides of the football. And I'm going all the way out what I've told you all offseason. They were Super Bowl impressive to me last night once again. So incredibly, they did this. I want to just frame what happened last night. They did this without their best pass rusher, David Irving, who's suspended for the first 4 games, as you know. They did it without what I thought was a steal of a 3rd-round pick, Jordan Lewis, who's got a pulled hamstring and has not been available through much of the preseason. And Jordan Lewis is on his way to becoming their best cornerback. Their best cornerback right now is named Orlando Scandrick. And they did it you said it was only 3-3 in the second half. Scandrick couldn't even play in the second half. He broke his hand before the first half ended and is gone now. They think they're going to get him back. He'll probably have to play with some kind of cast on, but he's going to have surgery for a second time on the same left hand. And still, it was 3-3 in the second half, and Eli couldn't even take advantage of no Orlando Scandrick.
Can I ask you a question, Skip, if you don't mind me asking? Help me. I'll hate to interject and hate to interrupt you. But how many offensive lines do you think the Cowboys are going to play against that will be equal to or worse than the Giants line?
The Giants have the best defense in pro football. That's all I know.
Yeah.
They do.
How many teams will the Cowboys face that has a worse or equal to offensive line?
I have to go down the schedule. But I told you all year, I'm not being a hypocrite. This isn't 2020 hindsight. I told you they're terrible in the offensive line. Eric Flowers is a liability. DeMarcus Lawrence, you kept saying, is he going to be available? Is he going to? Yes, he's going to be available. I think he was really available for Eli last night because he was all over him from the start of the game. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, they also did it last night with that Anthony Hitchens, who's one of their better linebackers, and he's gone for the first 8 games. Wait until these guys start to get healthy, and that defense is going to start to get real healthy.
Well, I think the thing for me, the most impressive, I thought was Zeke. Because considering this had to have weighed heavily on his mind. This is not something, you're on the field and you're practicing with your guys. He said all the right things, coming in and practicing with my guys. But Skip, the 6 games were very real. Your reputation being on the line is very real. And this is something, but guess what happens? When you're not on the football field and you're not having to remember plays, you're at home and you're at home in your own thoughts. And you're the real possibility that I can miss 6 games and my reputation will be forever tarnished. That weighed heavily on this young man. And for him to come out, I'm willing to, I'll give him credit. He is what makes that team work. Now, you can come all this Dak Prescott, and I'm not trying to minimize Dak.
I'm about to. Wait until I go. I mean, you finish, but I'm going to go.
I'm not going to minimize Dak because
you can't. Go ahead. It's okay.
I'm reclaiming my time.
Yeah, go.
Okay. Start over. I'm not trying to minimize what Dak and his importance to this team, but when you can run the ball like they can run it with Zeke, when he's picking up 4 or 5 yards on first down, it makes it a lot easier to call plays. It makes it easier for you to play the position of quarterback, although it is a very hard position to play. But it becomes much easier when you're 2nd and 5, 3rd and 1.
Okay? So I want to point out that my Cowboys dominated the Giants that you picked to win the East from start to finish last night. I never had any doubt, except when I heard that Orlando Scandrick couldn't play the second half. I thought, uh-oh, this could be trouble, and it was not any trouble. So the Dak attack put up almost 400 yards against the defense, I think is a little better than Seattle's defense. It is so good. It plays so well. Oh, it is. That pass rush, it's furious, man. Snacks Harrison, you always rave about him.
Yeah.
You just can't move.
He's a run stuffer,
woo, woo. So we get back to my favorite NFL coach, Ben McAdoo. He took 2 shots last week. The first one was at the running backs because he said, all running backs look the same when there's nowhere to run. Did he not say that?
He said that.
And that was a shot at Ezekiel Elliott, who at that point, I think we weren't sure whether he was going to be eligible or not. And I told you last Tuesday, we weren't on Monday, I told you that Zeke was going to be eligible for Sunday night, and he's going to be eligible going on through the season because this is going to federal court, and they have a very good case, a better case than Tom Brady had through Deflategate. So now back to Ezekiel Elliott. So last night, once again, he had 104 yards on 24 carries, coming off the game up in New York on December 11th when he had 107 yards on 24 carries. So in back-to-back games against the best defense, I think, in pro football, and definitely the toughest to run against, he just slowly but surely chewed them up and spit them out because those were grown man yards that he got last night. And to Ben McAdoo, Ben much ado about nothing's point, was he all backs last night? Because again and again, I saw nowhere to run for Ezekiel Elliott. Did he not make yards with no place to run?
Skip, I mean, look, let's stop now. Yeah, I mean, you make it seem like he was Barry Sanders-esque.
No, I'm just saying again and again, the play would start to develop, and I'd say, that's it, he's going nowhere. You want to talk about body lean? You want to talk about leg power plus quickness and speed and explosion?
He's a sturdy guy.
Woo.
I mean,
would he not lean into the hole and all of a sudden you'd say, wait, he just carried the pile like 4 yards. How did he do that?
He's stronger than you think.
Correct.
He has a very low center of gravity. I'm saying he's 5'11", probably 225. And normally you don't find backs that has that kind of speed, that can run with the kind of power that he can run with.
Yep.
And then you have that big offensive line weighing on people. And at the end of the game, it becomes a tedious job to try to bring this young man down.
Hey,
so give them
that late 3rd and 4, it was a money down where they just had to ice the game, and he just took it. He veered off right tackle and cut it upfield. And I don't know how he did it, but he carried 3 Giants toward the first down and got it. Wow. That's pretty impressive to me.
Because the Giants had been on the defense had been on the field basically the whole night.
They had first half 21 minutes to only 9 minutes for the Giants offense. I give you that. They were worn down, and I was highly impressed with the Giants defense in the second half for hanging in and hanging on because they did. So they didn't look tired to me.
Well, who, the Cowboys defense?
No, the Giants defense did not look tired to me at the end. They were fighting just as hard at the end as they were in the beginning.
Because they're a prideful unit.
They are.
And they realize
they're a talented unit.
They realize that in order for them to get to where they want to go, this side of the football is going to have to carry them.
Yep.
But at what point do you say, Eli and your offensive unit, you guys bear some culpability? You need to pull your weight.
They do.
And now they're not pulling their weight.
I don't think they're capable of pulling their weight. I think they are who they were because – help me out. What happened during the preseason? They scored as a first-team offense 1 touchdown on all their preseason series. 1 touchdown. So last night was just more of the same.
It's hard. It's getting hard for me to watch, and it's hurting early regular season play because guys are not playing enough in the preseason, Skip. They get no continuity. Basically, the first couple of games of the regular season is preseason for a lot of these teams. You get guys playing 3 plays, 5 plays, play 20 plays in the third game, and then they don't play in the fourth game, and then they wonder why there's no chemistry. They wonder why these guys are getting hurt because they're not used to getting hit. They're not used to playing together in the preseason.
Okay, I got it. I agree. But back to Ezekiel Elliott, you continue to make the case to me that Le'Veon Bell is the best back in football.
Yeah, he is.
And I know he didn't play in the preseason. Zeke played one series in the preseason.
Yes.
And Le'Veon yesterday against the Cleveland Browns had 32 yards on 10 carries. Wow, 32 on 10. He caught 3 balls for 15. Zeke last night, what if you'd put Le'Veon in place of Zeke? Can you imagine him tiptoeing into that Giants defensive front?
Skip. First of all,
how far would he have gone? For 30 yards?
It's gonna take him some time to get his rhythm back. He's away from the game. He played no preseason. He wasn't even in camp. Okay, so it's the first game of the season. Let's see where they end at the end of the day. When it's all said and done, Le'Veon Bell will be over 1,000 yards. He'll have somewhere around 70, 80 catches. That's who he is. That's what he does. I'm not with you. Want to put all your eggs in one basket, first game of the season. But here, Skip, you got 15 miles to go before you make it to the market. I sure hope you don't trip and fall with all those eggs in that one basket.
And by the way, you always say that the edge Le'Veon has on Zeke is he catches the ball. He can line up like a wideout.
Yes.
So last night, Zeke was targeted 5 times. He caught all 5 passes. One of them went for 30 yards. He can really catch the football.
Yeah.
I got it seriously. He can really catch it.
Let me ask you a question. How many of them were down the field? He was catching screens.
They line him up wide a couple times. He could catch it. They just don't need it. They're so loaded at receiver, they don't need him to run.
Loaded? Hold on. Let me see.
Did you see the catch Cole Beasley made?
Are you saying, hold on.
Whoop.
Are you,
Whoop.
So,
Find that.
do you feel comfortable in saying that the Cowboys wide receivers are better than the Steelers?
No.
Okay, then.
Can't go that far. But USA Today, about a month ago, ranked all the receiving core in pro football from team to team. And guess who was number 1 on that list? The New York Football Giants.
I would disagree.
That was with Odell, but still, Brandon, he's a friend of mine. I'm not sure.
No, I would have said, but see, here's the thing with the Steelers. How can you say, because do you have faith in Martavis Bryant that he's going to stay clean the whole season? Because when he's healthy, when he's on the field, he's special. Green Bay has a special receiving core. So there are some teams that have Atlanta with Sanu and Julio.
Yep.
Looper played big. I mean, 2 catches, 88-yard touchdown.
He did.
I mean, he got me beat. I mean, God dog it. But that ain't 96. I mean, he got 88. I got 96. Well, nothing here, nothing there. But Skip, you and I both know it's one game. Let's not overvalue. Let's not put too much into the, oh, man, they look really good. Let's not put too much, man, they look bad. Now, some teams we can feel comfortable in saying, the Colts, they're in a heap of trouble.
Okay.
The Texans.
You can do that.
Woo.
Okay, let's talk about one game for Dak Prescott, who you have indicated several times on this show is maybe a flash in the pan. Maybe he's a one-hit wonder. Maybe you got to wait and see. He has to validate what he did last year this year. He validated it last night.
With one
against
game?
Your arch rival in the season opener. The first game he played in his whole career was against this team last year. And he bounced back and dominated that team last night. This young man is special.
Do I need to call Blair Buswell, the guy that does the Hall of Fame bus, and tell him to get Dak Prescott on the radio after 17 games?
You know what? You might go ahead and do that. I mean, we got about 17 years to go before he'll be finished with his career.
Skip, you need to
Because he's going to keep himself in shape the way Tom Brady does. And by the way, he weighs 240. I didn't even know his weight was up to 240. But he
What you mean you didn't know? Look at him.
240. Look at those legs. My God. He's got a little Roethlisberger going. You just can't get him down in the pocket.
But Skip, how old is he? 23, 24?
What is he, 24? I think he's 24.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what that 240 looks like at 28.
We'll
or
see.
30.
He looks pretty good to me. So last night, he had a QBR against the best defense in pro football of 70. 70.
That is not the best defense in football. So it's going to be. So when it's all said and done, you believe they have a better defense than Seattle,
I do.
Denver?
I do.
Okay.
I honestly do.
The Ravens?
So last night, Dak had a QBR of 70, and
Is that good?
Against the best defense, and Eli's was 21. And Dak did this game after game last year. He went up against a better quarterback, an established star quarterback, and just drubbed them in QBR as he did Aaron Rodgers 70-35 at Lambeau in October of last year. Wow. And I love this Jason Witten quote. And by the way, Jason Witten, is he not clutch? Is he not as clutch a tight end as you've ever witnessed in your life? Seriously.
No,
Did he not catch the touchdown pass last night?
No, actually, I looked at a tight end every day in the mirror for 14
Did
years.
you? I figured
that was really clutch. But go ahead, Skip.
You know what? This guy just keeps on keeping on. And do you realize what you have done for him?
What I
Because
do?
you have said that you could outrun him at age 49 right now.
Yeah.
And as Jason told us at the Super Bowl, he goes in the barbershop whenever he gets his hair cut.
For what?
And he walks in the barbershop and they say, Shannon said he could outrun you. And it really, you could tell, it got to him. And it inspired him to get in even better shape. He's lost, I don't know, it looks like he's 15 pounds lighter than he was a year ago. And he still shields off any DB. And you see him against little, what's his name, Eli Apple. Did you see the touchdown? Come on, give me a break.
First of all,
Eli
Skip,
just bounced off him.
Eli's playing outside leverage. It was a great play call, Skip.
Yep.
It was a great play call. You fake the zone read inside and you raise up because the guy's playing outside leverage.
Was sweet.
You bend it to the post. Okay, so I mean, Skip, that's a route.
Who led the Cowboys in catches last night? Jason Witten.
Oh.
Jason Witten.
I know who didn't lead. I know who didn't lead him.
Well, we'll get to that in just a second.
Yeah.
So here's the quote from Jason Witten, the leader of the team on Dak Prescott, who has taken over the locker room and changed the whole culture of the Dallas Cowboys. Jason said, I thought the stats don't do justice for how Dak played, and this was a big step for him. The Giants, give you a lot of different looks, the pressure you get a lot of different ways, and he was constantly getting us in the right look. I think line one for the quarterback position is to take command and always lead us into the right looks and the right plays. He made a lot of plays when we needed him to throughout the game. He was in control against a good defense and a good defensive coordinator, of course, Steve Spagnuolo.
Oh, he said, hold on. He said good. You said the best defense. Now, he said good.
Obviously, he can't say that because they got to play Seattle. So they got to play Philly and all these.
He could have said they were a great defense.
Yeah, well, he said they're obviously very good. So Jason concludes Dak should take a lot of pride in tonight's performance because the two games he did not play all that well in were the two Giants games, and this one against the best defense in pro football, he dominated.
You know what?
You got to give him some props.
You know what I see what you're trying to do here?
I'm not doing anything.
Yes, you are. You keep saying the best defense in football because that would amplify Dak Prescott's in everybody else's eyes. This is not the best defense in football. It's not, so stop saying that.
You were the one driving the Giants bandwagon through the whole offseason.
I never said they had the best defense in football. I said they're going to be a very good defense. I said they will be better in year 2 than they were in year 1. That's what I said.
Think of the secondary. Janoris, Landon Collins, Eli Apple, the DRC. That's firepower, man. That's star power.
Talib and Harris were the first team All-Pro corners. Bradley Roby was a first-round draft pick. Darren Stewart is a Pro Bowl player. And Jonathan Simmons, who takes over for T.J. Ward. And they have something on defense that you do not have.
Guess where Dallas goes next?
Woo!
Woo! Here we go.
Vaughn.
Yep.
Vaughn go eat.
You sweating over there in your old man sweater? Huh?
That's what Vaughn gonna be doing a lot of.
All right. So, back to your friend Des Bryant. I thought he at least broke even last night with Janoris Jenkins.
Breaking even?
Yep.
You told me that's not what you told me. You told me that Dez was gonna get Jackrabbit.
He got him a couple times. He broke loose for one big game.
I promise you, if John Elway ever threw me 9 passes or threw the ball my way 9 times, I'm having more than 2 catches.
Yep.
I can assure you of that.
Okay. So what finally happened with 1:56 left in the half that set up the Jason Witten touchdown catch?
Bull jive PI.
Finally!
A bull jive PI. Bull jive.
You know what? The bull jive is that Jackrabbit gets away with push and grab all the way down the field. And I think the refs feel sorry for Janoris Jenkins because he's 5'10", and Dez just towers over him at 6'2". all the way down the sideline, it's just bump and grab, hands. And after a while, you got to call it. And they finally called one.
Skip, the ball was. Look, can I ask you a question? And we're going to talk about this later. What's the difference between that play, the ball landing out of bounds, and the play in Green Bay when they interfered with Jimmy Graham?
It was blatant. That was blatant. They should have called
it. I mean, this is ridiculous. Look, these are two physical players. Dez Bryant is not a guy that gets open with speed. He uses his body. He collides. He grabs. He tugs. He's like Michael Irvin. Janoris Jenkins is a hands-on, physical, grab, clutch player. If you're going to let him play that way, let him play that way. Because there were more plays that there were worse pass interference calls they could have called against Janoris that they didn't call.
Such as the one with 8:46 left in the game that would have iced the game when Dak just wrist flipped it like 55 yards in the air and hit Dez right here, and he couldn't get his hands up because Janoris is just grabbing him. Well, they didn't call it.
Odell would have caught it with one hand. Odell would have caught it with one hand.
He would not have.
Yes, he would have.
He wouldn't even made it past the 10-yard line.
But did you see the catch that Odell made against Janoris Jenkins in practice? One hand over. Now, he's done something against Jackrabbit that Dez Bryant only dreams of doing, and that's catching a ball in the end zone.
Yep. So, bottom line to this, the star of the night for me was the defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to say it again. Rod Marinelli is the best in the business. He completely retooled that defense on the fly, and all of a sudden, I'm seeing Jalen Smith, who's probably not quite ready to be back out there, but you want to talk about warming my heart? That kid paid for that last night. Woo!
That might be the best decision that they made. Selecting this kid, sitting him down for a year, letting him, because you saw that the talent is undeniable. And you knew what he was going to be before the injury. If he could come back somewhere 85, 90% of that. Now, if he gets all the way back, he's a Pro Bowl caliber player.
He is. And he's on the way. And last night gave him great confidence, I'm sure, because he made it through the game. God bless him. I got to knock on wood that it went okay.
But the best thing, Skip, is that they moved Sean Lee to his natural position, which is Will Backer.
And I'm going to say it again. Sean Lee is the best inside, or however you want to call it, whatever he is. He's the best in the business. As an every down linebacker, show me better. Show me. Kuechly's not better than he is.
What?
Sean Lee is all over the field. I've told you this for our year. I think I told you this on the other show, too. Sean Lee is really good because he can rush the passer. He can smell out and stuff the run.
Luke.
And then, did you see him dropping back into zones and confusing Eli Manning?
Yeah, I saw Luke Kuechly get an interception yesterday.
Wow.
Luke Kuechly, Bobby Wagner. I got a couple of guys on my radar that I would take over Sean Lee.
And
but
finally,
he is a very good player.
How many times have I sung the praises of little Anthony Brown on this show? And my man, Ben Much Ado About Nothing, said last week that he couldn't even name the Cowboy cornerbacks.
Yeah.
And Anthony Brown, I hope you went up to Ben after the game and said, Coach, my name is Anthony Brown. I was drafted in the 4th round out of Purdue University, and I intercepted Eli to basically ice the game. Did he not?
Skip.
Started 9 games late last year.
Anthony Brown,
you know
Leroy Brown, Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Did you see the one deep ball that Eli threw to Brandon Marshall, who almost caught it because he looked like the primary receiver? Anthony Brown.
Well, Eli receivers didn't help him anything because if you remember, Skip, I think it was in the 3rd quarter, maybe it started the 4th quarter.
Yep.
He had Brandon Marshall had leaked out to the left side.
He did.
If he catches
it, but Eli was running forward, and Eli can't run.
What?
He was out of sorts. It was an awkward sideways throw.
Sometimes
he got flushed.
The way I look at it, Skip, is that if my quarterback is struggling, I need to make a play. Rod needs to make a play. Ed needs to make a play for him to settle him down. I'm going to take it upon myself to make that play because I see him struggling. I know he's going through. Got a lot. The offensive line is not doing what they're supposed to do.
Yep.
He's speeding. It's forcing him to speed up. So now this is where you make the money. This is where you get the big bucks.
True.
You make the play.
Okay. So, last question. Do you want to switch your pick?
No, I ain't switching my pick.
You can.
I don't want to.
I'll let you.
I'm not giving you the satisfaction, but I'm going to get great satisfaction when it's all said and done. Let's get.
So now you got to wait until January again?
I ain't going nowhere.
We do have your first piece of crow pie in the back if you want to.
No.
So you can have one of those, or you can have the whole pie at the end of
I
the
got
season.
a whole German chocolate cake at the crib. You want a slice?
No, I don't. I'm starting my diet today.
Just stop it, Joe. I'm tired of you with this diet
To
stuff.
Skip's point about the Giants' offense, they haven't scored more than 20 points in 7 consecutive games.
Interesting. And you picked them to win the East. Well, that's okay. It's okay.
Orlando Scandrick is also scheduled to have surgery today, so they're hoping he's only going to miss a few weeks.
Who?
Orlando Scandrick, yep. And we got Cowboys and Broncos next week, so
Here we go.
4:25 on Fox.
We got that. We got to do on it.
No mercy. The Cowboys opened the season with an impressive 19-3 win over the Giants last night. Odell Beckham Jr. did not play for the Giants, and their offense looked terrible without him. They had just 2 first downs in the first half, and Eli Manning threw an interception and was sacked 3 times. We're joined now by the newest Fox NFL analyst, Michael Vick. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you.
So were the Giants overrated heading into the season?
No, I don't think they were overrated. I just think they didn't have Odell Beckham. I think if he plays, it changes the dynamic of the defense and what the game plan will be. I mean, you take a guy like him out of the game, and it becomes evident that he's deserving of every penny that he's asking for.
Like to be the highest paid in the league,
Yes.
including quarterbacks?
I can't say including quarterbacks because it's a different position and it's more demanding. But at the end of the day, Odell Beckham, he will allow certain things to happen or take place that will make Eli more comfortable. It'll help the running game. It'll get more players involved. Brandon Marshall, he didn't even show up last night.
Nope.
I was looking for him. But you have to give credit to the Cowboys defense.
Yes, absolutely.
They played extremely well, and they got pressure on Eli, and he wasn't comfortable throughout the entire night. And I think that made the difference in the game. And I don't think the Giants are overrated. I think they have some work to do.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I don't care who the team is. You take away a team's best offensive player, you're going to struggle somewhat. Now, maybe if you take Antonio Brown away from the Steelers, yeah, I mean you still have Big Ben, we still have Le'Veon. Now you have Martavis Bryant back. So you still have some key players. But when you look at the Giants, because they're so offensively challenged as far as pass protecting, as far as running the football. Now your best offensive weapon, your team's best player, what do, Skip? He lifts coverage. You are not going to drop that third guy down in the box because you don't want any of your guys going one-on-one with him. But when you can't protect, there's no Odell. Brandon Marshall was there in body, but didn't seem like he was there in mind. Ingram made a few plays, but until they can protect Eli or get some Skip, I'm not saying they got to be a top 10 rush attack. Sometimes you just run the football just to let teams know that you still can run.
Right.
But when they just know they can just play the run on the way to the quarterback, it makes Eli's job that much more difficult, and it makes your offensive line. At some point in time, Ben McAdoo's like, look, guys, y'all getting a salary. Y'all got to do better than this. This is not nearly good enough for a professional team, let alone the Giants that's going to win the NFC East. So they'll pick
I
it
did
up.
predict that. That's a long way to go.
I say both of you overestimated the New York Giants. And I haven't told you this, but I've told you this again and again and again. The quarterback is extremely overrated. He has now become the most overrated quarterback in pro football. And I was seeing some age showing on Eli last night at, 36 now? And again, he had 2 huge moments. He beat the greatest quarterback ever twice. Once with a lucky throw that even he acknowledged was the luckiest throw he's ever made in the first Super Bowl against Tom Brady that stuck in Tyree's face mask on 3rd and forever. I still don't know how he pulled it off, but he did. And they did win a game that I thought Tom Brady had just won with 2 minutes left by hitting Randy Moss with the 14-10 touchdown pass. But if you look at Eli, big picture, led the league in interceptions 3 times. You couldn't get away with doing that if you didn't have those 2 rings. No. Last year, he was tied for 4th in interceptions in the whole NFL with Blake Bortles and Brock Osweiler. It's not good enough. He wasn't good enough last year down the stretch. The last 6 games, with Odell in the lineup, they managed to score no more than 19 points in the last 6 games. And then, obviously, Odell Beckham Jr. went south, literally south to South Beach to get ready. Well, I got to tell you, when your whole team revolves around that superstar and his whole world revolves around Odell, you got problems. And they're going to have problems.
I will say this. in big games like last night, those are times when Eli has to step up. He's an elite quarterback. He's won 2 Super Bowls. He has the game experience. He knows what to do in those situations. You have to get more out of him. Whether it's moving in the pocket, stepping up, he has to become the leader and a guy who can make the plays that can't be made by other guys.
Yeah, he was off target all night until maybe a little stretch mid-second half when he started to heat up.
I think the biggest misnomer is that if you win a Super Bowl, you're elite. I've never thought of Eli as elite, just like I don't think Joe Flacco is elite. But now we'll put that title on somebody. Well, he won a Super Bowl, he has to be elite. That's not true. Eli Manning has not been and will not ever be an elite quarterback.
Okay, and in his defense, he does not have elite pass protection.
No.
That line is not very good.
It's not good.
And by the way, in his defense, he does not have an elite running game to take any pressure off the quarterback. They're not very good at running back.
But there have been a lot of times that Tom Brady didn't have an elite running game. There are a lot of times that Aaron Rodgers doesn't have an elite running game.
That is also a
But
fact.
those
Find a way to get
Drew
it done.
Brees. But you still find ways to get the job done. But Skip, it was week 1. There was a team last year that lost at home week 1. And it turned out okay for them, Atlanta Falcons. They lost to Tampa Bay week 1 at home. How'd that turn out for them, Skip? So I know the Cowboys. And you was probably in the mirror last night, you and Hayes like, hey, yeah, Cowboy.
I did do that.
Yeah.
How did you know?
But don't worry about it.
That's true.
Your day of reckoning is coming, and it's coming a lot sooner than you think. As a matter of fact, it'll be here Sunday at 2 o'clock.
Now you looked it up,
I
right?
will say this.
Had your researcher check.
It was disheartening to see the New York Giants defense go out and play as well as they did.
Yes.
And not get the results from the offensive side of the ball. And that's why it's the consummate team game. But they played with great effort. And the Cowboys really didn't do with so much. So play here, play there, and Dak obviously played tremendous.
It's tough.
Being himself.
Michael Vick just said that Dak played tremendous.
He did.
I told you he's special.
I think ball control was the key to the game last night, and
against
turnovers.
that defense.
I mean, you ever heard the term ball control when you talk about Tom Brady?
Yeah, sometimes.
No. What about Aaron?
Take and dunk.
What about Aaron? Drew Brees. You ever hear ball control? No. Skip, I'm not trying. See, Harry, this is what you do. You think if I praise Zeke, I'm trying to minimize Dak. What they do, Skip, the way their offense is working at its absolute best.
Complementary.
Yes. They run the football. Zeke is picking up 5 yards, 6 yards on first down. Now you get 2 downs to get 4 yards. He's working in 3rd and 1 to 3. 3rd and 1 to 3 more times than not, you're going to be over 50%. If you're not, you're going to be a very bad football team. So they work hand in hand. And another thing, if I'm Odell, no, I'm not risking my health. I'm not risking long term for you short term. So when you give me my bread, Skip, it was easy. When I was, contract was all nice and tidy, everything was okay. Hey, go on and give me that shot, Doc. But if I'm in the last year, I ain't gonna be able to do that. Boy, that thing hurt too bad. Hey, I'm gonna go until I can go, and I can't go no more. I ain't going.
Yeah.
Okay, you just made 2 points, and I got to take them in order. First on Dak Prescott. Did he not make a sweet deep throw to Bryce Butler that set them up 1st and goal at the 3, and then for reasons I don't know, they tried to force it to Dez because you got 21 back there, and all you got to do is just hand it to him, or you take it. You only weigh 240 pounds, Mr. Quarterback.
Because they want Dez to get that jackrabbit.
Okay, and they did. They wanted to get him off right and get even with Jackrabbit. So Dak was overamped. He threw it high. But then, with about 8 minutes left in the game, did he not throw the sweetest deep ball and hit Dez right in the breadbasket with it? And Janoris was all over him the whole time. I don't know if he made a great pass interference.
Yeah.
That wasn't no pass interference.
It wasn't pass interference. It was a good.
No, it was hands all over him. Dez couldn't even get his hands up. But was it not a sweet, deep throw? Don't tell me he can't gash you deep when he needs to. And that was just a little wrist flip, and the ball went 55 yards in the air.
But it's hard.
Don't tell me he's a dink and dunk.
That's the whole purpose of handcuffs. Is so you can't get your hands up.
Literally.
Because Jackrabbit had his hands like this all night.
He literally did. So the same Dak Prescott that I told you couldn't, like Eli, throw the wet ball up in New York and went 1 for 15 on third down against the best defense in pro football last night. Dak Prescott went 8 for 15 on third down, and 2 of those conversions, he ran with it right up the gut. He's not Michael Vick, but he weighs 240, and Michael weighed 200 maybe, right?
210.
210 maybe, okay? I'll give you 205. So by
late in the season,
you're starting
205.
to come down to
Yeah.
205, right? So you got to give Dak some credit. Now, to your Odell point, you're making a deep, profound, powerful point.
Yeah.
That's what I wondered last night. Was there a little pouting going on, a little negotiating going on, like, I'm not going to do this for you guys?
You know why quarterbacks are always willing to suck it up? Because they'll never have to worry about their contract.
Okay.
When was the last time a quarterback threatened to hold out? Because they always
They do.
Who? Name one.
Well, I don't know. In my career, I can name like a dozen.
Not in the past 20 years, not since we've had free agency. They'll do a quarterback with 2 years left on his deal when they won't do a regular player with 1 year left on his
I
deal.
just don't see what the problem is in paying Odell. I don't really think it would be a problem at some point this season, but now it's more evident that they need to get this.
Yeah.
They need to get this done.
Break bread.
It's something that,
Okay,
that
so
really
you want
needs
to
to
back
happen.
off your pick of them winning the East?
No.
Because now they're going to have dissension in the locker room, because I'm not sure he's probably going to say next week, I'm still a little gimpy. I'm just a little gimpy.
He's a competitor. He'll be out there next
I don't
week
know.
if he can.
I don't know.
Hey,
A competitor
he'll be
would
out
have been
there.
out there last
No,
night.
100%. I need to be 100%. Because you paying me 40 cents on the dollar. So I need to get 100% so I can make up for it.
Well, so they're paying you 40 cents on the dollar because you went to the Drake tour and
Don't worry about that with off seasons. What I do in my off season time, don't you worry about that.
He's really
Skip.
committed to winning football games.
Whatever. If you want to win,
I was very impressed by the Dallas Cowboys last night.
Thank
I will
you.
say that, Skip. You should be proud.
Thank you very much.
You even wore the Cowboys colors today.
I see.
It's 90 degrees outside. He's got a sweater on, right?
I'm
I
cool.
mean, fashion is his thing. So.
He's trying to distract
Can't knock
what
Forcing us
happened
into
last
fall.
night.
These are the
And
shoes
with
that
the
I'm gonna wear.
Adidas.
These are the shoes I'm going to race Jason Whitney in right here.
Keep talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
that, because you have
Those look very light.
reinvigorated him.
No mercy.
The Cowboys blew out the Giants last night, led by a defense that gave up just 35 rushing yards. We're joined now by former Cowboys defensive coordinator Rob Ryan. Welcome back, Rob.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Were you surprised by the Cowboys defense last night?
Absolutely not. I think me and Skip talked about this defense. Will McClay finally drafting players for this style of defense and Rod Marinelli's style. And I'm telling you, they've added the pieces there. They got that Jalen Smith coming back from Notre Dame, which was another amazing pick by Jerry and Will McClay. To believe in this kid and with a drop foot and all that, and to see him play like he did yesterday was fantastic. So no, absolutely not. I think they set the tone for the game. They're running the ball well, but I mean, you have 265 yards of offense, at halftime to 40. I mean, that's a pretty good beatdown, and that's a team that had their way with Dallas last year.
So let me pile on before you go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just remember, they don't have their best pass rusher, David Irving, as you said, one of the largest human beings you've
my
ever
God.
seen on a
Biggest
football
kid
field, ever seen. So he's gone for 4 games. Jordan Lewis is going to be a top cornerback in this league. They stole him in the 3rd round because he had a domestic abuse issue hanging over his head, then got cleared, but he's had a hamstring, so he was inactive last night, so he couldn't participate. And then all of a sudden, Scandrick busts his hand again, and you know Scandrick
Right. Oh, yeah.
well, and he'd broken it before, so he's gone by halftime. And they're playing the kid Awuzie from Colorado, who's a 2nd-round pick, but still, you're just throwing him into the fire against Eli Manning. And then, Anthony Hitchens is not there for 8 games because he broke his knee, basically, fractured his knee. So they don't even have their components in place, but the system is good enough. He teaches it well. Look, Rod Marinelli was not a very good head coach, but he can really flat out coordinate a defense. And so can you, so you can appreciate how this goes. But he has a system that he teaches and he motivates into that system. And they're starting, as you say, to draft the pieces that actually fit in the system, because they did it last year with mirrors because they didn't fit in the system. So good luck with this, because they will only get better and better through the year.
You keep telling me about how these young guys was thrust in there playing on the defensive side of the football, and they're playing against Eli Manning, who you just called on 3 occasions the most overrated quarterback player.
He is.
So what's the worry about? If Eli is overrated, he's not very good. Why should they be concerned with them young guys playing?
They completely shut the Giants down until Eli looked completely overmatched, as did 33-year-old Brandon Marshall, who could not get open all night against their just basic cover 2.
But here's the thing, and Rob, you know this. If you can shut a team's run down and the offensive line can't protect, what can they do?
Right. No. That's,
I mean, you got. Think about it, Skip. They got 60 yards rushing, but they got how many yards did they have? They got 90 yards rushing. No, they didn't have that. Ooh, Paul.
they had 20 at halftime.
Think about this. They have 35 yards rushing. 35. And one of them came on a 12-yard run. Mm-hmm. So you can't run the ball. Eli can't take 5 steps and throw the ball. I mean, how good a defense do you have to be, Skip?
You have to be good enough that Sean Lee is becoming the best inside linebacker in pro football.
He's not better than
I got to
Kuechly.
tell you, he was all over the field. Help me out.
Oh, yeah.
Was he not all over the field?
Sean Lee,
he's good, but don't say he's better than Kuechly.
I have to disagree with Skip on he's becoming this player. No, this guy's been there. When I was there, he was the best player in the league. He was. Now, he didn't stay healthy, and that's a big knock on him. But when he's healthy, I know Kuechly's tremendous. He's also had some issues with staying healthy because they're very similar players. The biggest difference between Sean Lee and Kuechly, there is no difference in the passing game. They're both tremendous. Yeah. They'll intercept the ball, every other week. I mean, they're both tremendous. They both study film. They know the game. I live with this guy. I've been around him. I've never seen a guy study like Sean Lee. But the biggest difference of those two players is Sean Lee loves contact. He will run through any lineman, get off the block, which was evident even last night, and make plays. And in practice, he makes every single tackle. So I know you love Kuechly and that, Shannon. I think Sean Lee, I've been with him. I know it. To me, he's just doing what he does. And that game was no different. And I love how he brings this Jalen Smith around. He's going to be tremendous. You saw the athleticism on the tape yesterday. I mean, this defense is going to be clicking. Now, was Beckham out there? Of course not. And that makes a huge difference. But
huge.
But to me, this defense is going to get better and better. They were number 1 in the league last year on run defense, and they're just going to be tremendous. And hopefully, Skander can get back.
But you can be number 1 in run defense when everybody throwing the ball on you. And see what happens. And what happened last night is because they couldn't protect Eli. An average secondary gets highlighted. They look a lot better than what they are. But Skip, I promise you, everybody's not going to have an offensive line like the New York Football Giants. They're going to be guys that are competent and can pass protect.
Okay, I
just don't believe the Giants. Skip, it's still early. It's week 1. Week 6 to 8. We'll find out who and what the Giants are. Then you can make a determination. But I still believe they're going to win this division.
Okay. So here was my issue with last night. This man, because of his father, earned his stripes to become what he was in this game. You paid your dues, as did Rex, to come up the ladder from the bottom to the top. And all of a sudden, Ben McAdoo got the job in New York. He became the head coach of the Giants at age 39, and after 1 year in which they went 11-5 and beat the Cowboys twice and then just stunk up a playoff game up at Lambeau, then he gets full of himself and starts to believe his own baloney, and he takes 2 shots at the Cowboys last week, one at the cornerback saying, hey, if you can name the Cowboy cornerbacks, help me out here because I can't even name them.
Don't know.
Well, I hope he knows who Anthony Brown is today because, listen, little Anthony Brown, a 4th-round pick out of Purdue, he started the last 9 games last year. I thought he was really good. Maybe Rob puts him in the right place at the right time, but who ended the game basically last night with an interception of Eli Manning, little number 30.
How did he look against Aaron Rodgers the last playoff game? How did Anthony Brown? How did that secondary look?
Once they figured it out and got the speed of the game, because you know and I know that defense had never been in a playoff game and it wasn't ready to play from opening tip. And then what happened? They got back in the game at 28 all. They got back at 31 all. They nearly picked off Aaron Rodgers twice. One got nullified. I thought they finally got into the rhythm of the game.
Well, I'd hate to see if they didn't. 384 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's had some bad moments, but I think I'll be honest. I think this defense is going to grow. They've got a lot of young players, but remember they've also added, some good free agents.
Yes.
Like Paya, the big D lineman, is a good, solid player. Carroll, the corner, who's a system corner, and I just think, I watch that game, and usually I'm on the sidelines watching. I haven't had the opportunity to watch many games at home. I watched that one, and I was really impressed. I think. I know Matt Eberflus does a great job also there, and Ben Bloom is an outstanding coach. So I just think they're getting better. I think they're growing as a defense, and that's the first chance I've had to watch the Cowboys with Ezekiel Elliott and Prescott, who I'm obviously a huge fan of. They're going to be hard to stop.
How many offensive lines will the Cowboys' defensive line face that are worse than the Giants?
Whew.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
How about Seattle?
I guess if they play Houston, you think about 10 sacks.
Yeah, you're right.
No mercy. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers also started their season with a big 17-9 home win against Seattle. Rodgers threw for over 300 yards, including a 32-yard touchdown pass to Jordy Nelson. He did throw a rare interception in the first quarter. Defensive lineman Naz Jones returned it for a touchdown, but the play was called back for an illegal block in the back after Cliff Averill after he pushed Rodgers. Jeremy Lane was also ejected on the play for allegedly throwing a punch against Devontae Adams. Pete Carroll talked about it after the game. Let's take a listen.
I didn't see the punch at all, and I'm disappointed that the play would have such magnitude on the game. You guys have seen more of it than I have. I just saw a little thing on the telephone here after the game, and but it's just such a drastic thing to do that I wish that they would have had cooperation from more than one official and just talk about it and figure it out, and because it's such a big call. I'm not talking about even bringing the touchdown back. I'm talking about ejecting the guy. But that's what they saw. One guy saw it, and that's what they went with. And I'm anxious to hear how the league talks. Tells us how that went. What should happen there.
Shannon, how impressive were the Packers?
I was impressed with them defensively, but then again, Seattle is not a really exotic offense. When you think of Seattle and you look at their offense, you're not thinking New Orleans Saints. You're not thinking the Patriots. You're not thinking some of these exotic offenses. But Skip, Mike Daniels, he will be NFC Defensive Player of the Week.
Oh, I thought you were going to say of the year. And
No.
Jump on that.
No, of the week.
Okay.
Oh, he's a hell Skip. They could do nothing. He stayed in their backfield. He had a sack and a half, forced fumble, 4 hits on the quarterback. Everything that they tried to get going, he disrupted. And when you can't, and I still believe they're deficient at the cornerback position, but when you can get this kind of interior pressure, he'll cover it up. He'll mask it. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. I mean, what do you expect, Skip? He's the best thrower of the football that's in the history of the game. If anybody that's ever picked up a football and they call themselves a quarterback, if all they did was run, if all they did was throw the ball, in the 98-year history of the NFL, I think they've been playing college football a lot longer than that, nobody can spin the ball like this young man. And he just showed you. And I know first half he didn't get any points on the board, but they had 12 first downs. I mean, he was good. He was throwing the football especially well. So he ends up 28 for 42, 311, was sacked 4 times. That just goes to show you, even when you get to him, you can't rattle this young man. What I don't get with Cliff Averill, if your defensive lineman gets an interception and he's running and the quarterback chases him down, he deserves to get caught. Skip, why would you push the guy in the back?
No idea. It was the dumb play of the weekend.
And then,
well, you just can't do it.
And officials, if you throw somebody out of the game, you better be damn sure they did what you thought they did, because this looked really, really bad. Because I didn't see a punch.
I saw nothing.
I saw a guy get pulled down by his face mask. He was rough with Parker getting up off the ground. I did not see a punch. So when you remove someone from the game.
No idea what they were thinking.
No, because now, Skip, you remove him. So now that means his backup gets to play. His backup has to play. That's not what you want when you're trying to go against that guy. And you know, sooner or later, if you give this guy the answers to the test, he's going to ace it. And you know he's going to get you with 12 men on the field. Skip, you know he's going to get you with 12 men on the Skip, you know that was going to happen. He going to do that once or twice a game.
Tell me when it's my turn.
It's not your turn yet. It's still my turn. Woo, woo. Skip, think about this. In the last 4 possessions of the Green Bay Packers, They went touchdown, field goal, and with 6:17 on the clock. Seattle, oh, y'all want, is this what you want? You want the ball? Get it. No.
So Seattle's defense was on the field twice as long as Green Bay's defense.
Yeah. I'm not scared.
I don't think they were running out of gas.
That's what I've said. And you look at Russell Wilson, he was 14 of 27, 158, 18 rush attempts, 90 yards. But Skip, they had 60 of the 90 rush yards on 2 carries. So rest of the day, they were 16 to 30, 16 to 31. How many? Who are you gonna beat with those kind of numbers? Seattle, if they can't run the ball because everything is really predicated off of them running the football. Play action, throwing the ball over your head, boot, the down flat drag comeback, or Russell out the backside. Well, if you can't run the football, it's hard for them to get their offense going. Now they have good players. Jimmy Graham, we know what he is, All-Pro, Pro Bowl tight end. Doug Baldwin is starting to come along, be one of these top receivers. Not a top receiver, but he's getting there. Paul Richardson can make plays. But Skip, they're not exotic in their design of their offense. They don't do anything like, whoa, you got to watch for all these exotic sets. I'm going to give Green Bay a little credit. I'm not going to overreact. I know what Aaron Rodgers can do. They're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to be favored in that division as long as he's the quarterback. And as long as he's playing at the level he's playing at, which I see for the very, very foreseeable future, they're going to be to deal with.
Your Honor, I have several issues and bones to pick with my competitor across the table.
Okay.
First of all, your defensive player of the week, what's his name?
Mike Daniels.
Jack Daniels?
Stop
I
playing.
think you were drinking Jack Daniels when you decided that.
I wasn't
last
on that
night.
yak just yet.
You know? So did he play last January at Jerry World in that playoff game? I just don't remember him playing. I can't remember anything from Mike Daniels.
Everything is a buzz because you lost. Everything was blurry. You blacked out.
But my Cowboys somehow scored 31 points against that defense, and it took the 2 luckiest field goals in the history of field goal kicking to save the greatest thrower of the football ever, Aaron Rodgers, who should have had 2 interceptions. One got canceled.
Well, I mean, with y'all guys, y'all got the 2 best players. Y'all got the best running back and the best quarterback in the game, so y'all should have won regardless of the hand of God field goal.
Now, back to what you were saying about your Seattle Seahawks.
I might change to Green Bay.
You're going to switch? What? We have a switch, ladies and gentlemen.
Shannon.
We have an early switch. We have a record early switch.
Hold on, Skip. Hold on, Skip. I said I might. I said I'm not.
I think you just
I don't think
did.
you understand how picks work.
What? Okay, I'm making another pick.
No, that's not how it works.
Oh.
It's okay to be wrong about the pick, but you have to make a pick.
Okay.
Do you realize for the second straight year now, your Hall of Fame credentials are now in question?
I'm riding with Seattle.
Okay.
I'm riding with Seattle.
I think you're about to ride with your man, Aaron Rodgers.
Guess what?
Guess
what? Did you see that division? Did you see the other teams in Seattle in the NFC West?
I thought you don't overreact in week 1.
Hold on. Did you see the 49ers, Skip?
The Rams looked okay. They looked okay.
Skip.
I know, but hey, Jared Goff. I told you Jared Goff is going to be better than he was last year because there's no more Jeff Fisher to impede his progress, stunt his growth.
They got 2 pick sixes and a bunch of. You saw the Colts and
I
Arizona.
did.
Did you see Carson Palmer?
I did.
So they're going to win that division. They're going to get a home game.
Okay. You don't want to just leap off the bandwagon.
No, I'm riding with Seattle.
Because I saw the 2 best defenses in pro football yesterday afternoon and last night, the Seahawks and then the Giants. And I saw both of them who are going to have to cover for 2 of the worst offenses in pro football, one led by Russell Wilson and the other by Eli Manning. And you're going to have nothing but trouble with Seattle all year because it's about to fester in that locker room, that clash between the defense, which is so good, and the Russell Wilson offense, which there was already some infighting, we know through the offseason.
Yep.
And now it's going to ratchet up, that clash, that behind closed door. It started last night on, if not in the locker room, on the team plane going home. I will bet you there were some words spoken, one side to the other side. You have to carry your weight. Am I right?
Yeah. I mean, 3 of 12, they're 25%. Skip. They almost got doubled
terrible.
up.
It was just
less than 21 minutes time of possession. Green Bay possessed the ball for over 39 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, what if you're on the field twice as much, 48 plays to 74, and you expect
Terrible. It's terrible. It's Russell Wilson. And you know there's some issues that the defense has just with Russell Wilson. And then if you go bigger picture, they can't run it. They don't have a great receiving core. Jimmy Graham did get robbed on the one play. It should have been pass interference. At least that would have been, 4 more points right there.
Yep.
Cliff Averill didn't help the cause any because he made the one big mistake that canceled out
my goodness,
what would have been
Skip,
at least a score by the defense.
Aaron Rodgers is 10 yards behind the guy.
It's just terrible. He actually motivated him. He pushed him forward.
Yes.
Yeah, he actually gave him a little shove, like he drafted it off of him. Wow. Although Aaron Rodgers couldn't catch, what's his name, Nas Jones? Weighs 305 pounds.
I tell you what, ain't no run quarterback would have caught him, but Michael Vick.
Well,
I bet Dak couldn't have caught him.
Dak would have caught him.
At 240?
By the way, Dak ran 3 times last night and 2 went for big first downs. He can flat out run it up the middle. He is a load, man.
Aaron Rodgers picked up a couple of first downs with his legs.
He did okay. He did okay. Running, throwing, not so much. I got to tell you, just to my eye, his QBR yesterday was all of 61, which I'm just telling you, it's just slightly above average. It's not great. It's not exactly a 90 because in the first half, I thought he got gun shy. I thought he got a little timid. I thought he was on his back foot the whole first half. He did get sacked 4 times, but I thought he was feeling the pressure like crazy and bolting. I was not impressed with Aaron Rodgers yesterday.
I mean, considering that Dak had 268 on 39 attempts and Rodgers had 311 on 42, and I believe Rodgers was going up against a better defense.
I don't think
I
so.
believe Earl Thomas. I believe Cam Chancellor. I believe Richard Sherman. I mean, Skip, think about this. 8 of the 11 guys that started yesterday has gone to a Pro Bowl. Of the guys starting on the Cowboys, other than Sean Lee, how many have gone to the Pro Bowl?
How many interceptions did Dak throw last night against the best defense in pro football? 0. How many times did he fumble it? 0. Aaron Rodgers threw it to some defensive lineman I'd never even heard of before. Hit him right in the hands.
Skip, you get fooled sometimes.
Oh,
they brought something from one side, they dropped the D end or the D tackle.
Yep.
You get fooled. I mean, Skip, I'm gonna tell you a true story. We were playing a game on Sunday, and the guy covered me. And Mike says, 84, you got to beat that guy.
Mike Shanahan.
Yeah, Mike, I said, Mike, he going to pick up a check tomorrow too now. And I jogged on back to the huddle. Hey, that big guy get paid too.
Okay. So, early in the third quarter, Russell Wilson just handed them a touchdown when it was still a real low scoring, what was it, close game at half, 3-0.
3-0.
And he coughs it up and gives them the ball at the 6-yard line. And Ty Montgomery
who made him cough it up? Mike Daniel.
Well, then he should be. Wait, could he be Defensive Player of the Year?
He will be NFC Defensive Player of the Week.
I don't even remember his name called one time at Jerry World in the playoff game. I don't remember, but whatever.
Okay, well, who?
What happened to Seattle's left tackle in the preseason? Help me out.
He tore his
George
ACL.
Fant out, gone. I told you when you made your pick. I said, "Are you sure about that?"
Well, hell, they need Walter Jones.
Okay, but they don't have Walter Jones. They don't have anybody. They can't protect Russell Wilson, and he gets beat up, and I think he's getting a little gun-shy about trying to run downfield because he always gets hurt.
Yes.
So all of a sudden, I'm just not sure. They got one of the most anemic offenses in the league. So they gave up the 7 points, and then what happened? Aaron Rodgers made one throw in that game. 17 seconds left in the third quarter. He made one throw, and how did he make it? If you can't beat him, trick him.
He did the same thing Tom Brady did on Thursday night.
Trick him. He tricked him. He get him to jump off sides. Everybody's looking at each other. Earl Thomas is looking around.
What you looking for?
Earl Thomas is looking around like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And Jordy runs right by Earl Thomas, and I don't know what he was doing.
No, first of all, they were going to a Tampa 2. And what Earl made the mistake is what he should have done is that when he sees Jordy lined up in I think it was a 3-by-1, go ahead and take Jordy. I trust that Richard Sherman is going to hold down whomever's outside, Devontae or whomever that might be.
Yep.
The most important thing, because in that Tampa 2, you got to realize Jordy is going to be streaming down the field against Bobby Wagner. So err on the side of that. I'm going to take Jordy as opposed to worrying about what's on the rail.
Duh. I mean, he's the one deep threat on the field that you have to account for.
Yes.
And he let him run right by him. And Aaron, to his credit, made one throw all day. That was an Aaron
made a
Rodgers
bunch of
throw.
throws.
He did not. That was the one throw that
Hold
he
on,
made.
Skip.
Touchdown, game over. That was it.
Can I ask you a
Because
question?
Russell Wilson's not going to score.
Can I ask you a question? Didn't we see Tom Brady do this on Thursday night?
Do what?
Get 12 men on the field and snap the ball.
I don't remember him throwing a touchdown pass with 12 men on the field. Do you?
Skip.
I don't.
No, I'm asking.
I don't remember Tom Brady doing a whole lot on Thursday night.
Whoa!
No, I'm just saying.
Whoa! You out on the great Tom Brady. Tom, you hear that? The man that buy your pajamas and avocado ice cream and got the big coffee table book.
I speak the truth. When it's time to speak the truth, I don't cover.
All I'm asking.
I don't camouflage. He had a terrible fourth quarter.
I'm saying that he snapped the ball and caught the Kansas City Chiefs with 12 men on the field.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not he threw a touchdown,
did not.
but he was doing trickery.
That
and
was
you
a
don't
one-play game, actually, and he got away with one.
You don't like trickery.
Tricked him.
You don't like trickery.
I don't like, because if you're telling me he's the greatest thrower of the football ever, you don't need to be doing hut.
Yeah, do it. Hold on, but you ain't have no problem when he threw the ball. He threw the ball to Edelman, and Edelman threw the ball down the field to Amendola.
No, that was sweet.
Oh, whoa! if he's the great Tom Brady, why would he let somebody else throw a pass other than him?
Their nemesis at home. Was it not their nemesis? The team that has bedeviled them in Foxborough in playoff games? The Ravens.
What difference
is against the Ravens?
You got a guy that has 4 Super Bowls.
Pull out all the stops.
You have a guy that's going to 6 Super Bowls at the time and had 4 on his resume. And you mean to tell me you want Julian Edelman, not Tom Brady, throwing a pass?
Sometimes you got to change it up on them.
Oh, that's what Aaron Rodgers did. Sometimes you got to change. Instead of going on 1, you got to go on 2. Sometimes instead of going on 2, you got to go on 3.
Yeah. Well, so at one corner yesterday, the Seahawks had Shaq Griffin, a rookie out of Central Florida, in place of Jeremy Lane. And that's all you can get him. You can get him one time by tricking him.
Well, hey,
wow, way to go, Aaron.
It's not Seattle's fault that the jackleg official threw out Lane for a phantom, a punch thrown. What punch?
It'll be interesting to see what they say about that. But
do you want to switch your pick off Seattle?
luckily for the Seahawks, they play the 49ers at home next
you want to
Sunday.
switch?
So.
You got them?
No. Switch my pick.
And that might be just what the doctor
With
ordered.
Seattle, the Rams, and the Cardinals in that division, you want me to switch?
Well, I don't know.
You're the one that suggested it.
No, I just suggestion.
Getting all scary.
Nope.
Just stick
Do you know
with
how
your
many
pick.
cases of dew you lost yesterday? I think it was like 6.
I lost 1.
Oh, please.
I lost to the
I know
Giants.
you doubled on the Giants. You said 2.
But you said no. Because
No,
you wouldn't give me 4 points.
No mercy. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers won their season opener 17-9 against the Seahawks at Lambeau. Rodgers threw for over 300 yards and added a 32-yard touchdown pass to Jordy Nelson. In the first quarter, Rodgers threw a rare interception. He only threw 7 last year, but the pick 6 was nullified because Cliff Averill blocked Rodgers in the back. We're joined once again by Michael Vick. Michael, how would you grade Rodgers' performance?
I give Aaron an A- yesterday. I think he played great. I think he was very savvy. Just a great job of quarterbacking. You look at the small things that he was able to do, the hard counts late in the game, to get the Seattle Seahawks defense to jump, really allowed them to make some plays down the stretch. The turnover in the beginning, that's something that can happen to any quarterback. Yeah. It was just one of the flawed plays that he rarely makes. So I think overall with Randall Cobb, Ty Montgomery, guys just getting involved and making the plays that we know they can make against a tough Seattle defense with the addition of Sheldon Richardson and a strong pass rush and the Legion of Boom. You have to give him all the credit in the world. He did the things that a veteran quarterback is supposed to do to win football games. Opening week, emotional, tough environment, get it done.
I gave him a B, and I gave him a B. I would have given him an A had he not thrown the pick. But because he did throw the pick, that was a turnover, which is very uncharacteristic of him. And if you look at the last 7 games, he didn't turn the ball over at all. He missed some throws that he would like to have back. He was let off the hook by that block in the back because that could have been a turning point in the ball game. That would have been huge. A pick. Because normally a team that turns the ball over gives up a pick 6 touchdown, they normally lose that game. But you also have to consider, Skip, what he's going against, as Mike mentioned. He's going up against probably the best front 4 in football and the best back 3. I mean, when you compare their front 4, 8 of the 11 guys have gone to a Pro Bowl. 8 of 11 starters. That's saying something. And to go for 300 yards. Now, he got sacked 4 times, got hit a bunch. Look at the difference in his performance and Eli Manning that got hit a bunch and got sacked 3 times. You said Eli looked like he was gun shy. one thing about Aaron Rodgers, he's never gun shy.
He worked that pocket.
He gonna stare down, and he still got them legs. You see how he take off and got those first down. He ain't 240 like that. He ain't 240. He was like 220 and still got it looking good too.
I think he's lost a step. He couldn't catch some 300-pound rookie.
And you thought that? And you think that could?
I don't know, maybe. Look better than that. Averill even gave him a push in the right direction.
Skip, what you fail to realize, I think the thing is that you think when you hear 300, 310, that's not that guy that you see walking down the street weighing 300 pounds. This guy's very athletic. That guy,
I know, he was a third-round draft pick. But Aaron threw it right to him, and he took off, and Aaron actually had the angle on him and couldn't catch it.
But you know what a quarterback does is the minute he throws a pick, he starts looking to see who's going to hit him.
Who's going to pick him off.
So his initial instinct was to, chase, but Cliff Averill was right there, so that slowed him down. So you have to give him a little credit for that.
Because normally, well, you can't do it anymore because, Skip, you covered this game long enough. You throw an interception, what did the defensive players go do? They go head hunt. They looking to put their helmet right under the quarterback's chin.
They were.
So when the quarterback,
but he had it free and clear. He looked sideways.
Yeah.
He had it free and clear. I got this.
I got to make sure I get across the street right now because it could be danger lurking. So I give him a B. But here's the thing: is that the last 4 drives, touchdown, field goal, with 6:17 on the clock, Seattle never sees the ball again.
They were gassed. They'd been on the field for twice as long.
Yes, they were.
Twice as long.
Who you think had something to do with that? I mean, them quick counts, hard counts, getting extra 3-5 yards here and there, first down with his leg. Skip, at some point, you know what, Skip? At some point in time, just acknowledge.
I can't.
Why?
I know what my eye test told me. He wasn't very good yesterday. I'm sorry.
Even in the pocket, Skip?
No, in the first half, and you say he's never gun shy? I saw lots of gun shy in the first half.
I did see a little gun shy. I would agree, but
I saw
he rose to the occasion.
I saw timid. I saw Balin. I saw looking for the rush.
Second half, it was 0-0. Now, he had 12 first downs. He played fairly well because he only had, I think, like 6 incompletions in the first half.
What was the score?
0-0.
Okay.
0-0.
No, they got 3. Didn't Seattle get 3?
No, I think it was 0-0. The first quarter
half. It seemed like they got a late field goal.
But don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. But in the second half, that rush was still coming. Bennett was coming. Averill was coming. Richardson, flanked.
Slower and slower and slower.
And that's when A-Rod started bouncing. Hey, you're in trouble when you start doing this and he start falling back, skipping that.
So what I saw, maybe I saw a different game. I must have been on the wrong station.
Yeah, you got a rabbit ear TV. That's why.
I got the wrong TV.
Get rid of that rabbit ears and you'll be fine.
What I saw was that Russell Wilson, you want to talk about offensively challenged, they got big issues on offense because they cannot protect him, and his receiving core is not great, and his running game is not great. So they are sort of the Seattle Giants. They got a great defense, but they don't have much offense, and the defense is going to have to try to cover for the offense all year. It's going to lead to internal problems that they've already started having in the offseason because the defense is going to say, you guys got to hold up your end of the bargain because they can't.
I agree.
So Russell Wilson tried to do too much, and the ball got knocked out of his hand early in the second half, and he gives them a touchdown from 6 yards away.
Yes.
And that changed the whole flow and momentum of the game because all of a sudden Green Bay is ahead 7-3 at that point. Then what happened with a few seconds left in the third quarter? Aaron was having a hard time against him, but finally, because he couldn't beat him, he tricked him.
Stop it.
He tricked him. He tricked him. He always tricks you.
Good.
I mean,
But
that's part of.
He caught him with 12 on the field, and Earl Thomas is looking around like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Sped up
And
the
Jordy
snap
just
count.
runs right past him. Right past him.
Out
And
of
it's on
position.
Earl. Earl's better than that. You know it, and I know it.
Well, Skip, like I said, I would have cheated to Jordy and take my chances because I know he's going to be running down on Bobby Wagner. It looks like they're trying to play Tampa 2 or what they were, but he knew something was up. I would have just went to Jordy. I'm going to take my chances that they're going to throw the rim route. If they want to throw the rail down the seam, okay, Sherm.
Wasn't KJ Choi in the middle of it, too? I don't know what he was doing.
KJ Wright.
I mean, KJ Wright.
KJ Wright.
Choi. No, I'm doing the golf.
Yeah.
KJ Wright. Yeah, wasn't he running?
That was Bobby. Wasn't that Bobby? I think that was Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner.
Bobby Wagner.
It looked the way Bobby was running. They were in a Tampa 2 because what happens in Tampa 2, the Mike backer runs and it almost looked like a cover 3, but it was. And Jordy, they got him offside. It's Skip.
He's really good at that. He can front run. Aaron can. I mean, when he's got somebody wide open deep, he threw him. It was a home run. He hit him right in the hand.
Tom Brady did the same thing on Thursday.
He did not.
No,
Did he throw a touchdown pass?
No. But hold on, Skip. He got the 5. That's the whole thing. You try to draw them off sides because then you can take, because he got them off sides again and he threw an interception to Earl Thomas in the end zone.
Yep.
You take chances because you know you're going to get the ball back plus 5 extra yards. That's what Tom does it. Just like when he threw the ball to Julian Edelman, he threw the ball to Danny Amendola. Now, why would a guy with 4 touchdowns on his resume, 2 MVPs, need to throw it to somebody else to let them to throw the ball when he's the greatest?
Because the Ravens have your number. They're
Trickery.
your nemesis in the playoffs.
Trickery.
Right?
Trickery.
It's not trickery. And by the way, Aaron had on his side the best defensive player in pro football. That's what you told me, right? What's his name? Mike Daniels? Right? Isn't he going to be the player of the week?
He gonna be NFC Player of the Week.
Yeah. So I checked just to make sure because I couldn't remember his name ever getting called against Dallas. So he played 2 times last year against the Cowboys.
Yes.
He had 1 tackle and 3 tackles.
Can I ask you a question? What did David Irvin do against Green Bay in that playoff game?
I thought it was about Mike Daniels was going to be. David Irving is out of football right now. He can't play for 4 games.
So who did what in that playoff game last year for the Cowboys on defense?
Boy, I thought Skandrick was really good.
Was
Now
Green
he's
Bay's defense that good or Seattle's offense is just that bad?
It's that
That's
bad.
the question.
Yeah.
That is
That's the
I
big
am
question.
answering it. It's Seattle's offense is that bad, and he picked
seen
them to win
frustration.
the Super Bowl.
That man didn't ask you that.
No mercy. Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.